Welcome to Curiosity Builds. My name's Trevin, and we are diving right into the Conundrum Desk, which is my current Curiosity build, honoring the Slate Political Gabfest's 20th anniversary. It's a podcast I've been listening to for almost 15 years myself, and I'm using my interest and curiosity about that podcast to drive my learning here in public with you, showing you how I use Cursor, ChatGPT, Claude, different LLMs, and those new tools to code and create things that I was not able to do myself even a few months ago. So while we are diving right in, I am going to step back and talk a little bit about this and my vision. We worked through a lot, kind of shaping this into something simpler, something more easy on the eyes, and feeling like you can interact with it, but it's still not where I want it to be. And part of that is because I'm trying to make these videos and show how I do my process, how I kind of stumble and I kind of vibe. But also, I've been a little lazy and I've been rushing things in some ways, which make things slower. And I haven't been applying some of the principles that I really think need to be active and in the front of our minds when we're using these LLMs. I try to, but it's a constant effort to build those good habits, not to just be lazy and rely on the AI outputs to tweak it for you, or to get you almost there, or to not understand what you're saying, but you take what they're saying and just kind of go with it. That's not exactly what I'm doing here, but it's not as cohesive, and it's not the vision that I wanted. So I took some time to write out what I wanted myself. And I was going to copy and paste it in here, but I want you to hear what I came up with. So in order to do that, I'm going to speak to text it, but I did write it down. That way I can have something more clear, and then I can understand where my steps might have fallen apart in the past. It's different than putting the agent into plan mode. I kind of put myself into plan mode. I sat back and I thought a little more about what I wanted the end result to look like. And that's not always what you're doing in a curiosity build. A lot of times you're vibing and you're following the path. And most of it is to what we're doing at Hypandra is to kind of teach and learn, wow, look at these different things we can do and how we can manipulate, especially if we are critical and we use strategic application and we question what we're seeing or what we want to do. We go out and we look for examples and we ask other people what they think, and we come back and we use all of that information to continue to iterate and make crazy cool things like what I've done so far with the Conundrum Desk. It's awesome. But I want to consolidate that and make this faster and do something with expeditiousness, unlike this long introduction. And to do that, I wrote out what I wanted. I organized it. I had ChatGPT put it in order for me. And then I am going to use it to prompt. So without further ado, I want to rethink the conundrum generation for the Conundrum Desk site. I still like the desk concept and everything we've built so far. I want to keep the leaderboard and the voting. The part that's not working is the current conundrum generation flow. It feels clunky. So let's clean it up and make it feel simpler and more controllable. The new idea is that the conundrum generation should work like a set of drawers. Each drawer represents a constraint that the user can optionally choose. They can open any drawer and pick the options, or leave the drawer empty. Whatever they leave blank, the LLM fills in intelligently. The drawers that I've worked up are as follows. Drawer 1, topic, or the what, which is morals, reality, society, future, manners, logic. Drawer number 2, the vibe, or the setting. Realistic, sci-fi, magic, absurd. Drawer number 3, the stakes. Low, medium, high. Drawer number 4, the people, or the target. Strangers, friends, family, yourself. Drawer number 5, the clock, or the speed, right? So instant, today, in a year, forever, in the past. If the user leaves everything blank, it just generates a strong kind of surprise me conundrum by default. In general, the output should be tight and punchy, not essay length, clearly debatable and not try hard, something people can discuss at a cocktail party intelligently or comically. I also want to change the voting icons. Right now they're thumbs up and thumbs down, But it would be really cool if they could be cocktail themed, an upright cocktail like a martini glass vibe for an upvote and a spilled cocktail for a downvote. If we can't find the right icons easily, we can try to do a custom SVG so it looks consistent, and if we don't have licensing issues, and so we don't have licensing issues. Lastly, I want the profiles drawer. So later, if I have time, I can fill it with links or profiles for Emily, John, and David. I'm totally fine just leaving that as a placeholder or coming soon for now. Okay, so thanks to Whisperflow, it read everything. I know it looks like I copy and pasted, but I actually held down a button and spoke this. And Whisperflow is an AI speak to text, so it will sometimes create nice lists, and you can go in there and customize it. All right, we are going to give this a try, but I want to put it in plan mode. Right? So I put myself in plan mode. I cleaned it up with an LLM. I then wrote it again. I just spoke it in here again. And while I spoke it, I made an edit live, right? I also misspoke, so I want to delete that. So now there's already been several passes at this by myself and an LLM. And now we're going to have ChatGPT 5.2 Codex put it into a plan. So that's kind of like the fourth pass. A lot of passes, but that's what we want. While this is planning, I'm going to do some editing magic so we can arrive at the plan quickly. Okay, so I'm back with the plan. It didn't take as long as I thought, but it did ask me a question that I didn't record. The question was to fill in. I forgot for some reason. I'll have to go back and watch the video. It either didn't record or I didn't say the people that are part of the target over here. And so those people are friends, family, strangers, and yourself. So I answered that question, and then it basically wrote up a plan. Not basically, it did write up a plan, and I can view the plan here. I can view all of the thinking that it went through, and then it just delivers it over here in a way that's easy to digest. The scope and approach, which I'll read through really fast. So replace the current tone and context generation controls in the Conundrum desk with a drawer-based constraint UI while keeping the rest of the desk. Pass drawer selections through existing generation client, adding optional constraint fields for external LLMs, and use them to shape the local fallback surprise me behavior. We might have to adjust this external LLMs part. Swap vote emojis for custom martini spilled cocktail SVGs used consistently in leaderboard and recent lists. Add a profiles drawer placeholder, coming soon with no functional links. These are the files that it's touching that are in the repo. This is the code UI that it's going to implement. These are the steps to do everything that we just talked about. We're not going to read it all. These are the to-do lists. It's going to go through and do all of these, and as they actually get completed, these get checked off. If it was a very simple plan with a couple of to-dos that were fast, I'd probably show the whole build and you would just see these tick off, but I don't need to add time. It's not very long, it's several minutes, but you know, we want to get through this video quick. So one thing I do want to change though, I don't want it to go into this plan yet. I want it to, I'm curious about this LLM thing. So actually, maybe we will just have it build this and then I'll explore that later. I'm curious what external LLM endpoint means. I need to double check how I'm set up on the Conundrum desk. I might need to get an API key to go into our own API to access Hypandra. We'll see. I'll have to talk to Daniel about that. But off to the races with the build. It is going to do a bunch of stuff, and when we come back, we are going to have a very different looking site here. So we'll be back shortly. Okay, so we're back, and it is just about wrapping up my last little part here. It is kind of cool. I am very happy that I took time to write this out and workshop it a couple of times, because still lots of stuff to do. But look at this. We've got these martini glasses here. How cool is that? How cool is that? Also, we've got our drawers. So we've got the topic drawer. Don't like how that looks. The vibe drawer. Steaks, people clock profiles coming soon. I think we need to move that. Yeah, this is so cool. All right. Let's see what happens when you just click generate a conundrum. When is it smart to look the other way? All right, now what happens if I just click? So let's do reality. Okay, where does that show up at? Oh, it holds the whole thing. So I think we want this to like, it's a drawer, and it pulls out like a drawer, right? And you select, so then it just sits there. It doesn't like expand down. But weren't that clear. So we've got reality. We've got the topic, reality. The vibe, realistic. I think we have some conflict here. Let's do realistic. The stakes, low stakes. I like it. The people, strangers, of course. And we'll do it today. And we will generate. Strangers face low stakes, a reality bending question in a realistic setting with the clock set to today. What should happen? Hey, that counts. Very much counts. What if it does it again? Nope. Oh. In a realistic setting with the clock set to today, strangers confront low. All right. But this is what I was talking about when I realized I might need to do a consult with Daniel for doing calls out to an LLM that actually can provide interesting conundrums. But I think this is proof of concept. Very cute and funny proof of concept. So we are going to call that an episode and commit this and work on more changes for the next episode. So don't forget to commit and don't forget to stay curious, my friends.